What's up, pre-PT fam? Today, I'm going to be sharing a summary of my program selection steps that I've given to you guys over the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so. And I wanted to just give you a quick summary in one video so you can see what it looks like in real life to apply these steps and what the whole process looks like. So let's go through each of them, okay? So steps 1, 2, and 3, you're going to focus entirely on cost of tuition alone. That's going to be the only qualifier to get your list rolling. This is important because obviously we want to save as much money as possible. So first step, you're going to use your in-state universities as your point of contact, okay? So there's public universities and there's private universities. Public universities receive state funding, and as a result of that, the tuition is less expensive for in-state residents. So that's why you want to prioritize those over public universities. Step 2, you're going to look at neighboring states, so other states close by, to see if you can do the same process. You're going to look at public versus private universities. And the reason for this is sometimes states have agreements with neighboring states that their residents can get in-state residency at the local university in the neighboring state. So that's something to check into as well. Step 3 is finding honey holes. So there are areas in the United States where there's a higher concentration of lower costs of tuition DPT programs. We're going to go through those areas and I'll remind you again. These are definitely worth taking a look at because they have low cost of living, a high first-time licensure pass rate, and low cost of tuition. So those are all awesome things. Which brings me to step number 4. You're going to look at cost of living and first-time pass rate. There's a lot of different cost of living indexes that you can use or indices that you can use. I used Numbeo.com, so Numbeo.com, and you can just rank and find the city that your university is located in and look at the cost of living. And step 5 is to identify other important factors or things that are meaningful or important to you as an applicant. There's a lot of different things that you can include in this. If you want more details, go back and watch step number 5 video. Step 6 is to compare your numbers with the data of the accepted students. This is the last step because I want to make sure that you go through and do your due diligence and you find the programs that are the right fit for you first instead of trying to fit yourself into a program, okay? Also, you have to remember most of the time the numbers that are given are averages. So it doesn't mean that's a cutoff. A lot of people look at it like, oh, well, I'm below the average, so it's a cutoff. They're averages, guys. You have to remember there's both sides of the spectrum, right? So let's take a look at how I would do this in real time. Obviously, I'm going to go through this quickly, more quickly than if I was actually sitting down and doing it with someone I was coaching or myself. But let's see what that would look like, okay? So this is PTCast right here. I've sorted the states alphabetically, and I've gone to Arizona, and I found there's 4 universities in Arizona that have a DPT program. There's only one state school, Northern Arizona University. Remember, the schools that have the state's name in which they reside in their name most likely are state-run programs. So there's only one in Arizona, so that's where I'm going to focus, okay? Now I'm also going to take a look and see all my neighboring states. So next to me, I've got New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California. I'm going to then look at all of their public versus private universities. Again, you can go back to this list, and I'm going to look at all the California schools since that's the next closest state and alphabetically, right? And now we go to the honey holes. So we're on one of them right now. So the mountain range, which is basically from Idaho and Montana up near the Canadian border, coming down through here, through Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah. That little range right there, there's a higher concentration of low cost of tuition DPT programs out there. There's not as many as there are compared to the South and the East Coast, but there's definitely a good amount. So check them out. The next one that you want to take a look at is the South, okay? So from Texas on over up through West Virginia and down to Virginia and wrapping around, okay? There's a lot of inexpensive programs in the South in general. So take a look at some of these programs. You may be shocked to see that they're less expensive out of state than your in-state program, depending on where you live. And the last area is kind of the Great Lakes region. So Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. this area has a higher concentration of lower cost DPT programs for cost of tuition. So those are the things you're going to look out. Now I'm going to look up the first time pass rate and the cost of living for Arizona. Okay. So I already I showed you guys the numbio.com. Phoenix is in a lower cost of living city, and that's the program I'm looking at is NAU's Phoenix campus. So now I'm going to look at the graduate performance. First time pass rate. This is what you want to see for 2017 and 18 is almost a 97%. That's great. Anything above a 95% is what we're looking for. All right, then I'm going to go to the About page. I'm not going to click through all of these just for the sake of time, but I can look at their mission and vision, see if I align with the things that are important to this program. I can take a look at the faculty, clinical advisory boards, news and events, so I can see what they're up to. I can look at the degree overview, all of these different things, residency programs if I'm interested in that, admissions, frequently asked questions, student resources, all of this stuff. I'm going to do my research and be very diligent about figuring out what works, what aligns with my values at this program. And then, only then, after I've done all that, I'm going to send an email to the program and say, hey, I found all of these facts out about your program. I have some questions about this, this, and this. Can you please provide me with some answers to that? As I'm waiting for their response to this email, I'm going to look at the applicant numbers, right, for their accepted class, okay? So cumulative grade point average, 3.68. There's the GRE scores, okay? So let's say I'm below these numbers, and I ask NAU, like, hey, I'm a little bit below your averages. Here are my numbers. Here's my GPA and my GRE scores. Am I still a competitive applicant for your program? And again, remember, guys, these are averages, okay? So you're going to ask that question after you've done and you've shown them that you've done all your research and you're really invested and interested in this program, and that you want to know more and you want to see if there's, a live tour you can take once everything clears up with COVID and all that stuff, or if you can do a Zoom meeting and discuss more things with them. These are the things that you want to do before you look at your numbers. So that way you can find the program that fits the best for you and you can be able to get into the DPT school of your dreams. Okay, so cast a wide net, keep your eyes open, find the honey holes, go through the steps, and you'll definitely be able to get a bigger list of DPT programs to take a look at and ultimately narrow things down to those schools that are the best fit for you. Okay, take care.